And we'll get going right at the top of the happy word. Was those five?
And just for tomorrow as well.
Yeah, Chief Carmen on as well.
It's a little bit on Saturday. Oh, okay. That's what I was looking at.
On weekends? So it's changed.
It's changed a little bit. Okay. Yeah, yes, great.
All right, we have Chief Carmen on. Why don't we go ahead and call our meeting to order then 30 seconds early? Let's all stand and pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, before we go, council, you'll notice that we do have one in the topic to add on, 4.2. Is there any consent agenda topic items you would like to pull out for regular discussion? Okay, then with that, we have also one additional agenda topic that we will have to put at the very top because, you know, the city is so well respected. Chief Parisi, why don't you come on up here real quick? So, Administrator Wade and I had the privilege of attending the Mid-Willamette Council of Governments, there you go, dinner last Thursday. No one got the chicken, so we all walked away healthy. Food poisoning this year. We went not expecting anything. So I actually snuck out about an hour early. And then Sean said we shouldn't have snuck out because then we found out why. The city of Hubbard was recognized for a second consecutive year with the Regional Cooperative Project Award from the Mid-Willamette Council of Government. This year's award honors the exceptional work of the Hubbard Police Department in coordinating and providing an escort for the wall that heals as it traveled through Salem, Monmouth before arriving in Independence for its installation. The Wall That Heals is a 3/4 scale replica of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. Along with the Mobile Education Center will be on display in Independence, Oregon from September 18th through September 21, 2025 at Independence Sports Complex. The exhibit will be open 24 hours a day and be free to the public. At the end of the day, here we are again, a second year in a row that the city has been awarded a cooperation award. And this one is for the police department. So this is to present to you and say great job.
I presented the opportunity to the team and those that were available immediately jumped right on it. And so we were able to have representation there because of our officers, and I'll make sure they get this too. So
It was fantastic. I wasn't expecting a plaque to be awarded. That's why I snuck out.
wow, that's awesome.
So pardon us for that unexpected agenda topic. That was an exciting thing to find out about on Monday.
Yeah, that's a great.
Okay, with that, the next one will be loving for presentation and update. So I will present the floor to you, ladies.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here. To you, the counselors, the mayor, thank you very much. I'd also like to introduce Nancy Talbot. She is our board treasurer, and she and I try and do this in partnership. Tonight, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about Love Inc. and what we do. I'm the executive director, Rosetta Weinbrand, and Love Inc. found its nonprofit status was awarded in 2009. And at that time, it was called Woodburn Love Inc. And we are a 501(c)(3). We are now Love Inc. of North Boone County. So I'll talk a little bit about all the areas we serve, but to point out that Love Inc. is not incorporated. It stands for In the Name of Christ. We are not church-based, but we are faith-based. And that's an important aspect of what Love Inc. is. We are part of a nationwide conglomerate, but we run uniquely to our area. So there is a national level. They help us with educational opportunities, different opportunities like that, but then we design the Love Inc., our affiliate based on what our community, the way we operate here. I'm sorry that we don't have PowerPoint because we had, one of our board members helped us set up a very nice PowerPoint. But our mission is to mobilize the church to transform lives and communities in the name of Christ. And, so some of the things that we do in our community are truly giving home. That's one of our biggest tasks. Oftentimes, if somebody comes into us and we can't do anything else, but ask them if we can pray with them, and we've had people help out saying that made all the difference in the world to them. In our community, we know a lot of people are struggling financially, and that is not uncommon for both large and small communities. But we work and collaborate with other resources in our community. It's surprising the people that do not know about different resources that are out there in our community. And part of the value of us is that, Nancy's and my background, we were in social services for 30-some years. And she also worked with the Oregon Health Science Center and helped people up there. And so she has a very, very deep background in resources. I have a background in resources. But pardon me, I am a little nervous.
You're fine, you're doing great.
We are housed in the Woodward Family Learning Center, Family Resource Center. And we are housed, Arches is another element that's housed in our very office with us. I don't know if you know what all these acronyms mean, so I'll kind of explain. Arches helps people, they're part of Mid-Willamette Valley Community Action. And they help with housing, rent, prevent eviction, a variety of things depending upon the resources and the programs they have. We're also housed with Interface Network, and they provide assistance to families to help them apply for Oregon Health Plan. Many, many, many of the people we see are on Oregon Health Plan. There's also Options Counseling and Family Services, and they provide counseling services. And then Bridgeway Community Health, you've probably heard of them. They provide trauma information. They integrate, they're great, sorry. I've been thinking about policemen. They integrate healthcare services. Center for Hope and Safety is around domestic violence, and they help people who are fleeing domestic violence to help them get out of that situation and get established someplace where they're safe. We also have Safety Compass, which works with survivors ages 25 and under from sexual exploitation and human trafficking. We are very excited that Hope and Safety is now in the facility 5 days a week. They were only there just 1 day a week or by appointment. We work very closely with them. A lot of our clients, well, I won't say a lot, but a number of our clients are in that kind of a situation. We wanted to share a little bit of the statistics with you. In 2025, we had 1,162 walk-ins that applied for some kind of help. Approximately 3,700 people were served. So that's the family came in, but then their children as well were part of that. 65% fell below the U.S. poverty line of $15,060. That's an annual income for a single person. I just shake my head. I don't know how anybody lives on that.
It's amazing. I don't know either.
And then North Marion, this is another statistic that North Marion's rate of poverty is 14.2%, which outpaces the state's poverty level of 12.2%. So, yeah, it's when you start looking at situations people are surviving and 2, 3 generations pulling together and trying to find a way to survive and as everything changes around us. We provide a number of services and we passed out to you a little sheet. It's Spanish on one side, English on the other. That talks about the services that we provide at Loving. Now, that's just what we provide. We also work with the resources. But we have, we work with the dental band and the Woodburn Rotary, and the Medical International team to bring the dental band to Woodburn. That dental band helps people who have no dental coverage and they need an extraction or a filling, they're in pain. So we set up the appointments for them and schedule them, remind the people of the appointments, and then we work with the dental band. It's housed at a church there just down the street from us, the United Methodist Church. And they are able to get the service that they need. It's hard to work when you have a toothache. We also have clothing for babies. We have baby furniture. We have household items that are donated. All these things that I'm telling you about right now are donated. And we work closely with Woodburn United Methodist Church and the Foursquare Church for Children's Closet is the Foursquare Church. They have clothing from 3 up to 18. We have on site infant from newborn to size 3, 2T3. And so we also have, excuse me, the baby furniture like changing tables, cribs, that type of thing that sometimes people donate practically brand new cribs because the baby was only in it just for a little while. We work with the family building blocks in Woodburn for diapers. People come to us for diapers. We give them a small supply and give them a referral form to the family building blocks, and family building blocks will work with them. A lot of families, they may have a child they need respite care, or the child needs to go to family building blocks so that the parents have some time to do what they need to do. Utility assistance, where it touches on you folks. We do water shutoffs and help people with water shutoffs for Woodburn, Jervis, and Hubbard. You folks have contracted with us since 22 when I came in. I came and talked with you can't remember who I talked to.
Probably Vicky at that point in time. Yeah.
And you folks said, yes, oh, I know, I worked with the chief of police. didn't I?
Hey, Brad.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
right. Sorry, I'm old brain. And we got this all set up and you gave us some of your dollars and we've been helping people in your community. Right now, the limit for people in Hubbard and Jervis is $250 a year. In Woodburn, and it can be higher if it's COVID related. It can go up to 500 if it's COVID related. In Woodburn, they have just given us permission to increase the amount that we can help people in a year to $500. I'm right with that, okay? And so they come in with a shut off notice and we usually call and find out what their situation is. If it only takes $75 to prevent the shut off this time, that means that they can come back and still get more towards that 250. And I know when Sean and we met with her, we're hoping that maybe you folks could talk among yourselves and look at, there might be some special circumstances where you want to help people a little more. A gentleman that had cancer or somebody who is a shut-in and lives on very, very, very small income. We see seniors living on $1,000 or less in a month. So when you're not out there in all of this, it's hard to believe. It's so hard to believe. We also provide car seats and training for parents. We have trained technicians that train the parents how to put the car seat in properly, how to put the child in the car seat properly. And we give car seats, but they have to meet that requirement. They have to come and go through that process. Then we also have diaper bags, pack and plays that this is from Early Learning Hub dollars. That we get a grant from them that help us with those. And then. In the last year, I am so tickled to say that we've gotten enough volunteers regularly that we do intakes now. We sit down with the client, we interview them. They may come in for one thing. Person came in the other day. Less than $500 they were living on. And what we help them find out, because Nancy is so knowledgeable that he can apply, he will get more than that. We pointed him to a few other resources that were available for a senior. And he just left just feeling wonderful, just tickled to death. And we are happy to do that. We used to provide suicide training, and we've had to, we're not personally doing that anymore, but we have contacts that do that. And so we used to go out and we trained in schools, but now we have resources that we use for that. We also provide household and hygiene items. We provide clothes for men and women. So, and those are all donated for the communities. We've been really blessed. So the other thing that I don't know that we had enough for everybody, but this little flyer talks about who we are, who we serve on the very front. It shows that we serve all of North Marion County from Brooks to Aurora, from St. Paul to, well, we partner with Silverton. So to help people. And also then there's things that you can look at on here that talk about what you could do if you wish to help us. I have to show you this because, wait a minute, it's in this one. And then here it shows the loving at the heart of what's happening in the community. The health services, volunteer opportunities, social services. So that is our role, to be kind of the hub and partner with other community agencies and churches to meet needs. I also want to make sure that there is a way to go online if anybody should want to volunteer. Our hours are listed both in here and on the sheet that tells you what we do for people. If you want to donate clothing, anything like that. And we, as Nancy has been so good at promoting already, we have 2 fundraisers a year that support us. And other than that, we get some amounts from churches and people who donate regularly. But we have a golf tournament. This year it's May 16th, 14th. Thank you. May 14th. And then we do that, and that raises part of what our funds raise or need. And then we also, in October this year, will have a gala. Mayor, you have come several
Yep.
times.
Fantastic gala.
And it's a lot of fun. People have a good time, lots of opportunity to bid on items, both a live auction and a silent auction. So that pretty quickly is what Love 8 does. I just want to be sure that I don't go through this so fast that I don't allow time for thinking and questions. So
My general take is, known about the organization or since you guys have come here and we've partnered with you, and you guys have done a lot of good. Both years I've gone to the gala, you've had fantastic first person stories, usually of, how you have impacted individuals. And it goes a long ways. Having someone who can connect people to the services that they need goes a long way.
yes.
And I do know my wife has pointed people to your way, and I'm pretty sure Sean has as well, our Administrator Way. But it's fantastic knowing that, if something is in need or if someone needs help with their water bill, we can point them somewhere as opposed to just shrugging our shoulders.
Right. Exactly. And that's one of the blessings of being a smaller area, I believe, is we truly, as a community, North Marion is it's a community that we all work together and try and help people. I've lived here almost all my life. My husband was born and raised in Woodford, so when he was alive, he lived here. I mean, people go, there was a hospital in Woodford. But, any questions that I help
Any
you
questions
with?
from the rest of council? Any comments, questions you might have?
No. I am very grateful for all the stuff that you guys do. Get to hear a lot about it from different sources, and you guys are great. So thank you for all the work you do in the community.
Well, thank you. We do a lot with a little and a lot of the support. It makes it really easy to volunteer there for me when I know that there's so many members of the community that support us.
We do live in a great community. The North American community is fantastic.
Yes.
All the various cities are coming together to help each other.
Yes,
And I know over the years, support's gone both ways. We've definitely, supported you donating money periodically over the years. And then the great support received back as the community for everything that you do. I know we've worked with, water shut off, situations. Didn't you guys have a couple of Christmas programs as well?
well, we ourselves, we try and take out, you might have a specific love Santa. That's the
yeah.
gift giving.
Yes,
We worked with them.
Okay.
A few years ago, they had 9 families that they could not give to.
Uh-huh.
So we took those families and we have found resources to be able to take out food, household cleaning products, and that type of thing, and toys to the children. We did that again this year, but I reached out to Nellie Muir to tell me what families were in the greatest need. We work very closely with North Marion High School.
Mhm.
And we've helped your families that had those fires 2 years ago. We've worked closely with helping them, made sure that they got Christmas boxes and that type of thing.
Thank you.
So,
Great.
you're welcome. Hubbard is just a rock star, so we're all one,
We're all together, yep.
yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Well, if you have any questions, you could go to our website, loving NMC, the NorthMarionCounty.org, or you can also call our office or go into information at lovingnmc.org, and our receptionist, which we have a bilingual, bicultural receptionist. That's the requirement that we have for that person. But you can send us questions, you can refer people to us.
That's, and ask about the dental van, is that, it's probably not specific to you, but does that service various areas throughout Oregon?
It does. They do. And in fact, they just got a grant about another dental van. And I don't know if they kept the old one, but the new one, and it's like 2 chairs now in it. And it can help, they can do more work, 2 dentists at a time. But they do go all around Oregon, and they work in partnership with us, Salem Health. And
Is there a specific name to that, or is there a phone number?
if you need a phone number, I would be happy to send one to you.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it is for people who have no insurance, but are in pain and need immediate attention.
Yeah.
So I can find your phone or your address on the,
On the city website.
perfect, okay? We can send it.
A quick question for you, ma'am. I was curious, what do you have a need for most, volunteers or certain donations?
Probably volunteers right now, people who would like to come in and either work with the clients or help sort and organize clothing. So that because we try and go through it and make sure that we don't have anything that's not in good repair, nice condition. You agree with that?
We can always use, cash donations too.
Yes, right.
You know, but, and they are tax deductible, and anything that you donate in kind, in the way of clothing or whatever you'd like, it's also tax deductible. We'll give you a receipt when you bring those in.
I just have to tell you this story. A lady came in today. She had spent time crocheting these little dolls. They're about this big, perfect for little babies, and gave them to us. And I said, oh, we'll tuck these away for Christmas for the little kids. But she cared enough to spend her time doing that and to give them to us. We've had ladies who have crocheted. They brought in a bunch of baby crocheted afghans, quilts they've made for us, so we can give those away. And we do share with the homeless shelter. Because sometimes they start out with us and we refer them there. People have a hard time finding the homeless shelter that we have in Woodburn. But, yeah, so, and cash is always a good thing, you know, I mean,
So,
Thank you for the information.
it helps buy toothpaste, it helps buy deodorant.
so, have you tried to work with, I know you're a large area, but you started in Woodburn, the Woodburn Adult Center?
Yes,
So have you connected with them?
we are, in fact, we did a presentation, has it been a year yet? 6-9 months ago?
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh, yeah.
So, all right, good.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. Oh, go ahead, Ms. Fairwick.
Yeah, just real quick. So, we'll come back, staff will come back to council with information on what our running balance is with Loving.
She has that right now at the treasurer. She,
I'll put it in a staff report for
Okay.
them, and then they can discuss the policy decision of if we want to increase that annual amount per community member, for consideration. We have quite a sizable amount, so.
do you have a community newsletter that goes out?
We,
Because that would be really good if we could periodically put an article in there.
We actually put it in, we put about the loving consistence in every newsletter that we send out.
Thank you
Yeah,
And
very
we
much.
also on our shut off notices, we put stickers in Spanish and in English to contact loving.
You have done a great job of promoting it. Thank
We
you.
try really hard to, help our citizens and our community members. And so we do refer them to Loving Plan.
Yeah, that's, and the more successful they are, then they'll tell somebody that's, you always think about, if I have to pay the water bill, or can I buy milk for my baby, or, I mean, those kinds of things that it's really hard for people to deal with.
And your actual dilemmas. Yeah.
This wasn't in Howard, but I have to tell you a story. A lady we were able to help, she knew they were gonna come shut her off, water off that day, so she parked her van over the meter so they couldn't do it. And then we were able to help her, so they didn't ever, she had babies, so it was really important to her. But, people are very.
I think that was
The
Sarah
resource.
Hubbard.
All right, well, thank you for both comments.
Thank you both, thank you all.
Thank you for coming.
All right, with that, let's move on to the next update. We have Chief Carmen online. So, Chief, do you have any updates for us this month?
Yeah, I do. Can you guys hear me all right?
You can hear you okay. I heard all the sirens. I didn't know if you were getting called out.
Me, not yet, but who knows? Our new engine is in service, our new to us engine. Went into service last month. And today is the first fire on scene that it's fighting. So where it's actually being used is in its fire truck capacity, which is pretty cool. Along with that, I would say, give you a little bit of data from back in February. February was a really slow month for Hubbard Fire. We only had 37 calls for service total, which was very unusual for us. But with March being here and it already being March 10th, we're making up for those calls this month already. We did about 204 hours of training last month. A lot of that focused on driver and pump operator training on the new fire engine, as well as having a Firefighter 1 Academy underway. So we'll have seven folks that will be graduating from the Fire Academy that we put on Saturday the 21st. That's our live burn. So we haven't had a Fire Academy done in probably 4 or 5 years. So it's exciting and really nice to be able to train our own members in-house. The benefits to that is the firefighters are learning on Hubbard equipment and they're learning the way that we do things. So there's no retraining that has to be done for those members. And then did about 4 hours of fire inspections, local businesses. And then we spent a few hours out at Pacific West Roofing over on Industrial Avenue doing some public education for them. The focus was on fire safety and how their crews can prevent fires and then also assist the homeowners where they're working and the fire department in the event of an emergency, whether that's a fire or a medical call. So I'm keeping it brief. Do you guys have any questions?
No, I'm excited about the new engine. I apologize, I missed the push out last month. Council, any questions you might have for Chief Carmen?
Not me, just a big thank you.
I did appreciate the pushing ceremony. It was a great time and it's always exciting to see a new engine come into service. So it was really great to be there.
I have no questions. Thank you.
All right, Chief Carmen, thank you again for dialing in and giving us a nice update. And I will hope you guys still have a slow March. I'm hoping you guys don't make up for a slow February.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Moving on, next agenda topic is going to be calendar of ordinances. We have ordinance 3972026, an ordinance that will establish an urban renewal agency. We're going to do this by motions to read. So can I get a motion and a second to read by title?
I'll make a motion that we read by title.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Motion to read by title only for first reading. Ordinance 3972026, an ordinance establishing an urban renewal agency.
You have to make a vote on it.
That's right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
There we go. All those opposed say nay. Oh, this is crazy the way we have to do this. All right, now I shall read it. Ordinance 3972026, an ordinance establishing an urban renewal agency. Can I get a motion and a second for a second reading?
I make a motion for the second reading of ordinance number 39726. I'm sorry, 2026.
I'll second that motion.
All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed say nay. Okay, ordinance 3972026, an ordinance establishing an urban renewal agency. With that, I would like to make a motion that we adopt the ordinance.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Okay, there is no nays. That's unanimous vote.
Perfect.
Next one, agenda topic 4.2. I'm assuming this was where this goes. Recruitment for city administrator position. I'll hand this over to Administrator Waite.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor and Council. I have provided a letter of resignation to council. My last day, will be April 9th. So we need to start working through the process of filling my position. And I have provided the update, or well, the most recent, approved job description for the city administrator role that council approved back in August when we abolished one of the director of administration positions and shifted some of the duties to the city administrator and created the city recorder / court supervisor position. So with that, I will turn it back over to council for discussion on how you would like me to proceed with posting a recruitment and interim appointments and so forth.
Right. So I've had the opportunity to already start engagement with our legal side as well to make sure that we are moving forward in compliance, reluctantly accepting a resignation.
Yeah, don't accept it. That was the first move.
We don't accept.
Yeah, I would like to, but we can't. So with that, there's a few things. The first one, I have requested that Sean immediately post the recruitment so we can start the backfill process. If it's acceptable for council, she has a recruitment posting ready to go. We'll get that posted tomorrow. We'll collect the initial round of resumes up through, I think, March 26th, at which time we will do a review and see if any of them meet the candidate, the search that we're looking for. At this point in time, we're going to do an internal search. What I mean by that is we're not
gonna do an external firm. We believe there might be enough interested candidates that apply, that we'll be able to get a good pool in here, scrub their resumes and take a look at where we stand. So what I'm looking for first from council is agreement that we can go ahead and move forward and get this posted tomorrow. Do you need a motion on that, Sean, or is it
Yeah.
consensus? Okay.
I make a motion that we move forward with posting the, a job posting for our city administrator.
Effective tomorrow.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Not that it's gonna stop her.
No, you can't go.
Now, on top of that, we have to also look at the continuation of city government. Because of that, we've already reached out to Superintendent Martin Echo to be able to start filling in as interim. I got it right, didn't I?
Yeah.
Working on it. So the request I have for council is to, right now, we have to draft up a interim contract that needs to go through legal. Again, I've requested Sean Waite, go ahead and, author that up, get it sent over to legal for review. Once that's done, we would like to, have, Steve Martinecco, accept the interim position until we have the position filled. That will allow him over the next 3 or 4 weeks to begin ramping with Administrator Waite to ensure nothing is missed. What I'm looking for there is, what I need from council is your approval that once the letter is submitted and we get it back from legal, that you authorize me to sign for the city, so we can get Superintendent Martinecco into the interim position until that position is filled. Couple of caveats you should be aware of is, number one, the actual letter that will be, or the contract will be put in place is going to define the scope and the authority that the interim city administrator will have. There'll be some, probably a little bit more limitations than my Administrator Waite might have, so we'll probably have us pulled back in for more sessions if needed. The second part is, we need to understand any current impacts it might have on public works. Actually, in discussion with both Administrator Waite and Martinecco earlier today, we don't believe there'll be any impacts to his current responsibilities over in the Public Works Department, primarily because we are looking to outsource the accounting portion. I think we could probably talk about that in the city administration update. So we don't see anything there. The next one is the contract needs to ensure and stipulate that Superintendent Martinecco has the right to return back to his previous role. If maybe the interim position isn't working out well or he decides he wants to move back into that position. So it's not like he's moving forward and he's stuck there. He can resume his original role with the city. And the other one is the right for council to remove Superintendent Martinecco from the interim position if for whatever reason we decide we need to. That is because, of course, any of the department heads do serve at the discretion of the city council. So that's guidance that we received from legal. Administrator Waite has the guidance and she'll be working on getting that basically interim contract over to legal to review. So again, what I'm looking for is approval from our city council here for me to sign said agreement and interim contract with Superintendent Martinecco as soon as we get it back from legal. So we have the opportunity to ensure that we have that continuity of administrative services. And I will abstain from that vote since I'm the one I'm assuming has to sign it, or can I vote?
You can vote.
Good enough. Any concerns on that direction?
It feels like a really big workload. I mean, that's,
That is a valid comment, Counselor. Having come from, as I was explaining to City Administrator Waite, this is a lot easier than walking into an office with absolutely nobody there, and having to take over each and every position that this city has to do, in addition to running the water and wastewater plants. That's too much. However, in time, with an accounting specialist in place, it's possible to do that. In this town, it's even better because you have a very strong public works team in place, knowledgeable, running things. And what they need is leadership and oversight, not day-to-day meddling in what they do. The second part is we have a strong city recorder position here. And that's a lot different than, say, the previous position I was in, where I was also the city reporter. So, literally, for first 6 months, it was a one-man show, literally. So having experienced that and did that for 5 years, I can say that this is far more organized and far more efficient. And so from the viewpoint of being able to manage an organization, but lead the individuals that are here, this is way further ahead and much easier for me to take care of in terms of the day-to-day responsibilities. So very used to it, that this is, I would never have accepted this or even entertained it if I thought that this was going to be the same kind of situation that I came from. So, and plus, you know, I like you guys a lot. And I'm very sorry to see Sean go. I think, as I commented to the city administrator and to you, very fine city administrator. It's a real jewel. And it's hard to find competent individuals to do this work anywhere. But to your point, I'm very comfortable with it. I don't think Public Works will suffer any. The programs that I've talked to you about and have promoted will still move forward with the same gusto as they have.
I do have to say, with moving the financial work off of the position, that eases the workload tremendously.
Yes. And
Mhm.
the auditors will love it. And we'll get the same, because the city administrator still provides the oversight to them. But oversight's a lot different than having to enter the timesheets manually, put all the invoices in manually. I mean, I know city administrator Wade spends a lot of time doing that, and battling Cassell and all the other things that are going on. That just takes a lot, or in my case with Springbrook, it doesn't matter what program there's badness. And those are the things that are not great. And take a huge amount of your time to do. And with this offloaded to another competent individual, then you can focus on the planning. You can focus on working with staff, its development and the planning and doing the things that you folks expect your city operationally to run.
All right, questions?
Yeah, so are we looking for a motion or a consensus?
A motion. So I would like to make a motion that the city council
Do you
authorize.
have any questions?
No, I didn't have a question on.
Yeah, good enough.
He's got some
Yeah,
rounds over there. I was just going to make sure.
that's the rounds because it's horrible.
The
news.
overall topic.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion then that we authorize the mayor to sign the interim city administrator contract once returned from legal. And execute the agreement with city.
I'll go ahead and second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Everyone that's really disappointed and doesn't want it, say no.
That option.
Yeah.
For here forever.
Okay, I will say, this did go along very quickly. And I cannot express that my gratitude to Administrator White's amazing deliverables that she's done for the city over the last almost 4 years. So she will be sorely missed. Big shoes to fill, but as I learned on Sunday, no one's gonna be able to fill them. Someone else is gonna have to come in their own shoes and make their own impression. So, all right, with that, let's just keep driving through this agenda so we can all go home and cry. Okay, next one, budget policy review, over to Administrator White.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm not gonna go over this, policy document page by page, just give you a high level overview. So this budget policy and fiscal strategy, is really a document that provides the guiding framework that staff will use as we develop our proposed budget for fiscal year 27. The fiscal principles and expectations, help ensure transparency, consistency on how we manage revenues and expenditures throughout each fund. Also identify fiscal, sustainability and make sure we align with council priorities such as lined out in the goal setting session that we had on the 24th. The document also supports compliance with Oregon budget law, and also accounting standards and best practices. What I'm looking for from council is any direction or requests to modify the document or revisit some of the methodology, as stated in the document. If there are no recommendations for edits, I will move forward with the proposed budget development, using this methodology.
I'm fine with what you have written from my stance. I'm glad you outlined it. I think it's the first time we've seen it actually. I remember we did this last year.
That we did.
Did we? Darn it. See, I got accustomed. No, I have no disagreement. I like the way you've done it. I like the way you kicked off the budgeting season with us having to come together for a goal review and a priority session. I think that's very helpful to understand where we take our limited resources and how we best apply them. So I think you're just taking that directly into what you're doing here for the budget development. That's my comments. Patrick, Councilor Zadi,
I have no comments on that.
Councilor Steiner,
Yeah, no, everything looked good. Thank you for creating it.
Councilor Yonley.
Yeah, and very in depth. I definitely like the structure here that you've done.
All right.
Okay,
Think
thank
you have
you.
consensus from us? Now, you're still gonna be here at the next city council, right?
Well,
Somewhat-ish?
I don't know. So, I mean, it's on the 14th, so I don't know. I can be. I
Move
guess
to
that's
you and the
kind of up
interim
to council.
Okay. Let's move on to the next one then. Community gardens. So this is a quick update for me. So I was reached out from a community member right after the last city council. Administrator Waite pointed them over to me because they were interested in using the community garden for personal use. Now, interpretation of the current, I don't know if you want to call it an ordinance or policy that we have in place, was that the community garden's been established for community benefit, i.e. Jubilee Garden would grow vegetables. Those vegetables would have been used to distribute. We inadvertently, after that, we did try to open it up a few years ago, as long as someone was administering it or took quote unquote ownership of that plot, kept it clean, made sure things were done, that people could come down and first come, first serve, have a plot. That year, nothing happened with it. The following year, nothing happened with it as well. And you can kind of see the community gardens falling apart. This year, we do have a community member still that potentially might be interested in managing said garden, Jake. I don't know his last name off the top of my head, but he's the one that does the popcorn at the movie nights, etc. Now, the individual family that reached out to me would like to be able to have a community plot there or use one of the plots for personal use. And I wanted to see if it was acceptable with city council, that as long as we had someone managing said community garden, that we would allow it to be used for personal use on a first come, first serve if they wanted to take one of the plots and manage it and try to grow a garden. The difference there is the interpretation. Is it going to be a community use where it has to all go into a community pool, or is it acceptable for individuals to go in and have their own plot in that community garden that they can grow and maintain? Does it make sense what I'm asking?
That makes sense. I was under the impression that that's the way it's been done. so-
Yeah, but when you interpret the ruling, it's actually for community benefit. That's why I wanted to bring it in here and ensure we were all aligned. Councilor Zani?
How many people actually are part of that, like when it's a garden?
Absolutely none.
That's fine.
Yeah, we've had it there
I know
before.
Jake, so yeah.
Right, it's been basically left abandoned for almost 2 years now. They tried to grow pumpkins there about 3 years ago, but they planted the seeds too late for the pumpkin season, so it didn't work out. And again, it really depends on, again, if someone is willing to take the administrative role of ensuring that it's one plot per household, they can come in, keep it clean. It's not just a weed fest. That's what I'm looking for.
So yeah, my point of view on that, first off is place is kind of trashed. Fences are falling over, there's excess garden supplies just laying around, was not well cleaned up when when people stopped using it. kind of historically in the past, you get a bunch of people interested and involved in that. And then after about a month, you got about half of them, and a month later, you've got 2 people running it. You know, trying to water it and maintain it, stuff like that. So, I mean, it's a great idea. So getting down to the question today, if somebody wants to go in there, a community member wants to go in there and take over one of the plots and grow their food in it, I'm all for that. You know, if somebody can go in there and do their thing, and it supports the community member, it supports community family. It's a community garden. There are other plots and other people want to use them. I have no problem with that.
No problem. Councilor Steiner?
Oh,
Go ahead.
sorry, I jumped in. But
No, I don't have.
Tina and I were part of a community garden in another community before we moved here, and you could grow what you wanted, you know, along the fitness spot. And, you could share it with the community, both that community at the garden or another community, because they did donations also there for, people who needed food. Or you could just grow what you wanted for yourself. Can we set it up where people can grow whatever they want for their use or for?
I'm assuming it would be
Yeah,
vegetables and spices probably, you know, we might want to limit.
Oh, yeah,
to what
yeah.
you can grow.
Sorry. Now plant 2 more zucchinis and.
Just be cautious of what you.
Yeah, no, clearly, yeah, we wouldn't have anything like that, but,
Revenue, sorry.
but I think it may attract more people if they can grow and eat if they grow.
Yeah.
The one that we use, I think, is really popular.
I think we had a loose interpretation prior to it. I think, as you have all mentioned before, that we thought that was the assumption as well, but with the interpretation currently being read, it was for community benefit. So I think we're in consensus on that. I think my biggest stipulation still goes back to what you're saying, Councilor Youngman, is that we still need someone to be responsible though for the area. I've already talked with Superintendent Martin Echo as well, and that is if we don't see it this year, then we probably just seed it over and just turn it back into a plot of grassed land, quite honestly, so it doesn't become a continued eyesore. But again, I can reach out to the 2 individuals that have shown interest, and we can continue to try to reach out to Jake to see if he wants to administer or manage it. If he doesn't want to, I can ask the other couple who lives right next door to it, if they want to be the ones that manage it as well, to allow for their use, so.
I also, Mayor and Council, we would need to do a repeal of a resolution and create a new resolution to allow this.
That's right. We can bring that in the next
Yeah,
council session. on
next
this one.
council meeting.
Or intern administrator, Martin Echo.
So I'll write it down, but here I have it.
Thank you. In the meantime, I'll also reach out to, I think it was the Martinez's.
Yeah.
And let them know. And if you can give me Jake's number, I'd be more than happy to reach out to him as well.
Okay.
Okay. Let's move on. That was my agenda topic for that. Let's move on to appearances of interested citizens.
Me and everybody else in the room.
Yeah, it's packed in here.
Why did you let me out of class and stuff tonight, because I didn't pass the whole beard test. Wow. Matt Kennedy from 3635 Fifth Street is where I reside. I, at 6:30 night, when I was leaving the office, wrote out, I didn't know what the agenda was gonna look like tonight, and knew that you were gonna be getting a resignation. I had received a resignation from Sean, so I didn't want to, I wrote a letter, and I can submit one for the record. It's a 2-page before I can read through it. I can give you all one to go home and think about, but I'm glad to read it. Doesn't look like you're incredibly busy tonight, so it's your choice.
Would you be willing to submit it so we have a chance to look at it?
Yeah. Look, yeah, looking for an opportunity to work with the current staff and the city in regards to some code compliance issues, mine and others, and how we can, make things easier for staff and for council and for the citizens, so. It's,
Appreciate that, Matt.
yeah, just, I'll submit one for the record, so it's in the record and one for each of you, and maybe we can reconvene or get going on this in the month to come. Mayor?
Thank you.
Well, I will add, and I will add for the record, as the mayor knows, I shared with him, in writing personally in the last couple of weeks, that I do, I think I stated that Sean is a great asset to the city and the best, best we've had, the best thing that's happened here, in many years, so I appreciate what she is, even though she's been having to battle me and trying to figure out some code compliance stuff lately, but that compliment is well deserved, so we're gonna miss her, and she's, done an awesome job being here, so. Hopefully, follows your footsteps.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you, Matt, it's not because of you that she's leaving.
Yeah, I know. It's laundry, I know. Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
Give that to-
You get one too, yes, one time.
Okay.
No.
Thank you, Matt. Moving on to mayor council presentations. Again, I already kind of gave one a little bit earlier as we're gonna be moving.
Oh, you
forward.
gave me two.
So,
I had 7, but
so
I
I
don't
do
know.
want to say something real quick. So depending on what this says, this could come before council in an appeal if we go through the land use planning.
So you're saying we shouldn't read it to keep our,
Well, I don't.
and just to let Mr. Kennedy know, the reason why I have somewhat have been avoiding your location is not to engage in the conversation in case it escalates up at
Yeah.
the city council. So is there
My goal is
anything in the
still
letter?
compliance and cooperation, so I mean, at this
Okay.
point, my letter states that. And it's not even about my site specifically, it's about how, I think for staff has had some challenges in code interpretation and has had to use resources for that. Myself as a citizen, I'm trying to understand and comply, you know, and just all the way around and looking at other sites and how. Yes, I'm kind of resending the letter, but do we want to be an HOA or do we want to, this, code compliance is by telling on your neighbor at this point? And how do we have a balance between small town friendly thing and HOA and then when something does happen, how can we have some more clarity for all those involved in the process? Because I think that's been a troubling thing for me in my case and continues to be because I can pick apart code pretty well. And I mean, I'm wrong at times and I've done things wrong in town at times. But like I said in the letter, from a policy perspective and personal perspective, I've been on your side of it and implemented and talked in that letter about some of the things I've helped implement and some of the challenges in that and how those have developed today. So this letter and this presentation is not about Matt Kennedy. I'm certainly dealing with this process right now, but it's like, how can we make it better so that all these parties, including current and future staff, can better work with.
So it has, so the loose correlation, but not a correlation enough to cause,
No, there's no fact, this is not anything, I mean, there's no fact finding about my site or about my interaction with Sean or anything in that.
that's okay. I agree. I see where you're going there, Mr. Wade. Yeah. Again, because yeah.
I wasn't here to hear my case. I wrote this at 6:30 as I leave in the office.
All right.
In fact, had to install dictation on my computer so I could do it quick enough to just to get my thoughts out, so.
Chat
Anyway,
GPT, I'm telling you, that's.
Right?
what's that?
Chat GPT.
Oh, well, no, I dictated and I couldn't type that fast and I had a place to be before I came here, so anyway.
Well, thank you, Mr. Kennedy.
Good night, thanks, Sean.
Okay, any other council presentation and or updates? Councilor Nobley?
I don't know, I think I brought this up in the last council meeting, and it wasn't clear in my head tonight, so, when it comes to our garbage pickup, new weekly pickups, and I've had a couple of our citizens come to me and say, you know, weekly pickup is great, however, I only need it like every 2 weeks or monthly.
What is this for, garbage or?
Yeah, garbage and, you know, and then maybe if they could get on a monthly cycle, because they're single, they're living, you know, individually in their home, and they produce very little trash, and they don't need a monthly, a weekly pickup for their trash and maybe it has to do with contracting. I don't know if we, you know, have our current garbage pickup, you know, there's an exclusive, you know, where we give them, you know, they can only come in and pick it up. But is there some way we can go to like a bi-weekly or monthly plan with our current garbage pickup?
So I can respond to that. So the county contracts with haulers, so Republic
So it's the
Service
county.
and it is a weekly pickup. They don't negotiate as far as how often certain areas are gonna be picked up because it makes scheduling it can make it very difficult.
Right, yeah.
So having managed a hauler contract before with Lane County, there were no specifics. In commercial areas, we would negotiate more frequent, actually, like twice a week, depending on volume there. But in residential, it was just flat once a week.
Yeah, and the confusion could even come in more, only because I've spoken with Mrs. Williams or Miss Williams down from Public Services as well, on how they, you know, with the yard pickup every other week, the
recycling every other week. And on top of that, I could imagine the logistical nightmare of saying, oh, we're supposed to skip this house this week and only do a it would cause a nightmare. I think logistically,
Yeah, I understand that. I think back when I was delivering newspapers back in the day when we used to do
make
that.
yourself there.
And, yeah, but, as a young teen, I had Sundays only and weeklies only and stuff like that, you had to pay attention to. It was a challenge, but once you figured it out. So, okay, now I know the answer to take back to the citizens, so.
Yeah. The other thing they can look into, a suggestion you could probably provide them would be maybe combining, have one house that wants to have the service and they could all just
Put it
share, right?
One big garbage can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else?
That's all I had, thank you.
Okay, Counselor Stein? Counselor Scott? Oh, you guys are making it easy. Let's keep moving on. City Administrator report out. We'll start with Administrator Waite's last one.
Okay.
Here's there.
Yes.
Well, so just real quick, on the financial update, we're 67% through the fiscal year. We are trending, right where we need to be for fines, fees, property tax. Franchise fees were lagging behind with PGE, and I have a meeting with them, on Thursday to talk about that a little bit more. But Comcast and others are catching right up to where I would expect them to be. Our license and permits is lagging significantly, and again, I talked about that a little bit last month. We have budgeted, funds for building permits, and we're just not seeing, that many permits coming in. Again, we do have, the mixed use project that we're working through site design review. And we do expect that building permit to come in, which when that does, that'll put us well over what we budgeted. So, I believe that will straighten out. Our, expenditures have stabilized quite a bit in the general fund. And I believe that will easily come in, under budget in the general fund. Sewer fund and water fund, watching pretty close, as we had to dig in and we knew that it would be structurally unbalanced for this fiscal year. But we're hoping that will continue to stabilize a little bit and get cleaned up in supplemental. So overall, our finances are looking pretty good. I'll move over to my administrator report. So I did include, the key priorities is in a resolution in your packet. I wanted to make sure that I captured the activities that you wanted us to focus on for next fiscal year, appropriately. So continuation of the water, wastewater, and street improvement projects. Implementation of local improvement districts, focus on F Street. So I believe that one might need some additional discussion, and I'll come back to that in just a second. So implementation of the Urban Renewal Agency, council just adopted the ordinance. I'll be moving forward with working with Department of Revenue to make sure that gets into our fiscal year 27 budget. Again, it's not going to be much of a budget, really just a couple $1,000s that we're going to get in property tax revenue for the first year. So it'll be pretty simple. Development and design standards for the Hubbard Development Code. I have let our city planner know that this is a council goal, so she is aware of it, and she will be meeting with the planning commission. I believe it's in April on their agenda to start talking about what that looks like and what their perspective is, and then we'll bring it back to council as well. You'll bring it back to council. And then economic development, so implement tasks identified in the economic development strategic plan to encourage business growth throughout our community. Wanted to circle back to the local improvement district. So that program would need to be front loaded with some sort of funding. Generally grants don't
fund this type of activity because we're gonna get paid back from the community members where the projects happen. So the money that we have, available, like in our street fund for beginning fund balance, council has earmarked that money already to go into the urban renewal agency to fund urban renewal districts projects. So I just want to put that kind of in council's mind that we're kind of double committing some of these funds if we move forward with the local improvement districts.
Right, and I think I've given you my feedback. I have spoken to a few, including someone who lives with me, and had my ear completely bent for well over 2 weeks about it. She did have a good point. An example to our neighbor, she just spent $18,000 putting in sidewalks around her house that the city required. That's how much it costs to put in about 200 feet of sidewalk. I think we spent about 10K in sidewalks already as well. So just those alone, she was like, boy, you can't have them do something that huge and then come and expect them to tag on more. That was her point, and I can't disagree with that. But again, you know, some people have had to put a small section in, so people have had to put huge sections of sidewalk in. I think it's a great idea. I think we need to keep it in our inventory of tools that we can pull out later. I just might be premature this year budget cycle. We'll probably be looking at something like that. That's my 2 cents, at least. And I do agree with Sean, is we just don't have the money right now to upfront it. I think we wanted to use some of that, as she said, earmark the funds to kickstart urban renewal efforts here within a year or so. That's my 2 cents.
Mhm.
Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. Administrator Wade.
Oh, no, I just, actually, I want this conversation to happen to make sure I captured these right before.
No, everything I read on there looked straight up in terms of our priorities. Did anyone have a disagreement on the priorities that's all listed? That was a pretty good reflection of our meeting
Okay,
a couple weeks ago. Yeah, it was only a couple weeks ago, wasn't it?
yeah, right. And then just one final thing, so, on the second page of my report, it talks about dispatch services, actually, as of this morning, this information, is outdated. So there was a Metcom board meeting, this morning. Metcom announced that they are not taking legal action against Hubbard for terminating the agreement. And they also, did identify that there was, some discrepancies in how they handled the Aurora Fire District leaving Metcom and how they're handling Hubbard trying to leave Metcom. So they also confirmed that the money that, cities have contributed to the Marion County Radio Project, if they are not participating in the Marion County Radio Project, they will refund us the money. So basically, over the last several months, we've been getting a lot of pushback from Metcom saying they're not going to allow us to do this, saying Office of Emergency Management's not on board with this. Metcom also said during that meeting this morning that Office of Emergency Management is completely neutral in this decision and that their responsibility is just to approve the jurisdictional plan. So Newcom is just about ready, like days with them being ready for us to move over to them. And so I will be reaching out to the Metcom executive director this week to find out when he's going to submit that jurisdictional plan. As soon as he does, and Office of Emergency Management approves the plan, we will move over to Newcom. So within probably 30 to 60 days.
Yeah, I think a realistic estimate would be probably around May 1st timeframe.
Mhm. So that concludes my report.
Any questions for the last administrator report out?
No questions. Well, I'll tell you, thank you so much for everything you've done for this city. Really appreciate it. You're gonna be missed so very much.
Oh, thank
So
you.
very- Congratulations, Steve.
I'm not sure how to follow that. You know, I just want to say especially thank you for all the work with the radio transition. I know that's been not easy. But it's really one of the many areas that you've done amazing things for the city while you've been here. And very grateful and appreciate everything that you've done, so.
Thank you.
Counselor Young?
So just kind of curiosity, and I don't know if you know the answer to this or not, so, with the various departments leading Metcom, is Metcom, you know, going to be on unstable financial footing and the, shifting over to a new communication system? I know we had that presentation here from Metcom. They're trying to put in the new systems, and they have different options. They receive money from the state and there's brought us a bunch of possibilities. I'm just kind of curious, Metcom could be becoming something else.
Yeah, so, great question. I think we're all kind of wondering,
I mean,
What-
luckily,
what-
it doesn't
luckily-
direct, we're getting out of there, it won't directly impact us. Like,
no, but
I spent a lot of time in Salem, Kaiser area. And
Right. Well, the Marion County Radio Project, continues to be delayed, so they're looking at like spring, summer of 2027 now. So they had hoped December of 26, so it's moved out. As far as the financial stability of Metcom, I couldn't really speak to their finances. I know that with us leaving, that's a financial impact for sure. There is a little bit of financial impact to, the city of Woodburn because we won't be receiving IT services for public safety anymore. And they won't be storing our data for our police department either. So, but all that it was the decision we made for some of the cost savings.
So since you brought that up, what happens to that debt? Does that come back to us? Does that go stay with Woodburn? Does it get transferred to Newcom?
No, well, we get to keep it and Newcom, it's basically transferred to Newcom, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And you're gonna have a going away party, right? Send
I
out
don't think so.
cake and ice cream,
Oh, yeah.
the flowers and
You don't get away with that.
keep us updated.
Okay.
Thank you
Okay,
very
I'll
much.
make a motion that we appoint Julie to the staff.
We'll get it taken care of. I'll keep you posted.
Party officer.
All right, with that, we don't have police department here. I don't know if someone, I read his report. I don't know if you want to report out for him.
No, he wanted me to apologize to council. We're a little short staffed. We had an officer call in sick. So he's over in Aurora presenting to their council.
Yeah, I think
But he wanted to make sure you knew it's not that you aren't important to him.
there is one thing I want to point out real quick is the 7th officer position we were going to hire for fell through, so they are reopening that back up. So they're starting again. So just FYI, we are short an officer. I have talked with Administrator Waite about my concern about Donna or Chief Parisi being overloaded. So they are having that discussion to ensure that he doesn't find himself burning himself out, finding too much coverage. In the meantime, we are still trying to expedite the hiring of that 7th officer. So we'll see who we can pull in. So just, if you didn't read that into his report, you might have missed it. I just want to make sure you guys were aware of that. Outside of that, the tickets have dropped this month for Aurora. I know last month it was like 149 or whatever. Even Mayor Asher called me on that one.
Right, 5 of the last 2 months.
Yeah, it dropped a lot. But anyhow, if there's no other questions on that, we can move on to Superintendent Martin Echo's update.
Well, thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Each month I've been working on a theme, and that's what I put in my major report. And the last time was safety and, the top end things. Prior to that was trying to understand scheduling. This month and right now is working on efficiencies, and including efficiencies with our vehicles, how we maintain them. What do we really need? What do we not need? And that's been part of a discussion that I've been having with staff. And also looking at how we can. It isn't just the vehicles, it's how do we do our work in public works? And how do we do that efficiently? Great group of people, but often, sometimes we have people scattered like little porcupines all over the town. That's a reference from encountering a giant 4-foot diameter porcupine in Alaska while I was running. And there was 18 little porcupines that came out running all over the place and then finally disappeared with their mom. And anyway, that's kind of how I envision it at times. So that's part of the efficiencies of vehicles. The other part of it is, how do we assign tasks? And I gave you a presentation on preventative maintenance and a system. That system is only as good as how easily staff are going to get that information, look at it, find what they need, accomplish it, sign off on it, and move on to the next. If you make everyone come back and do clipboards and paper, it won't work. It just simply won't. So I found, over the last few months, and I've been working on it now between my 2 phones, a maintenance program that actually mirrors the presentation I gave you a few months back. That allows staff to do their work, know what's going on each week. They can look ahead if they want, but they will know what they need to do. It's easy to use, sign off. And the best part is, for me, it gives a giant dashboard of everything that's going on, and anyone else who wants to look at it, for that matter. But it lets you know what's pending, what's happening, what's been accomplished, what issues we've had, what inventory we need to do things like we need to replace fan belts for preventative maintenance. It does make things just a lot easier and more efficient for public works, and also as a foreman or a superintendent to see at a glance where everything is at without having to sit down and bug staff as to what they're doing or find out where everyone is in town. And it helps direct people. So now we can look at, do I need 2 staff on here? Well, don't take 2 trucks, take 1 truck. That's an example of that. Or we need 3 trucks and you need to be going here and here, and we need to coordinate this activity. And a good example was today with a water meter that was going backwards. Now, that's not good.
Now you get that meter?
Yeah, I said the same thing. I said, why wasn't that at my house?
Yeah, it's great.
You have an electric one?
Yeah.
Anything I can use.
It was the magic meter. But we actually had, this was a very good evolution. We did use this system, in practice. And the folks did an outstanding job of troubleshooting it, figuring what the issue was, finding out what they needed to do in order to fix it, let the manager know what was at trailer park, and then coming back and saying, what do we need to do to stop the backflow? Well, in this case, there was a 3-inch water line next to it. We just backed it off a little bit until the meter stabilized. So we prevented the backflow issue, which now prevents us from having an OHA issue. At the same time, we're able to notify the public, and we were all able to do it in practice with the system. So I think we're onto something really good, and the staff have kind of glommed onto it as something that they can use to help them in their daily work. But those are the kinds of things this month I'm working on, is the efficiencies of public works and how we can do our jobs a little better when things aren't falling apart completely, right? Those are emergencies and those are different, but this is during the times when we don't have those emergencies. How do we make sure staff aren't bored? Because we do not, certainly you should not have bored public works staff. There's a lot to do. So that's the main thing. We had a visit from what I thought was just a handful of EPA, DEQ, Biz Oregon. It turned out to be 9 people come visit us. This is about our loan program and what are we doing with it. I thought we had an excellent tour of the water plant. They all thoroughly enjoyed, asking questions. They love the color coding on the pipes in there. I learned that from Mike. He emphasized that, and they loved it. They thought this was really great that we were so organized and had our pipes all color coded. So Sometimes the simple things make the biggest impact, but it went well, and I think what I got back is that we were spending their money wisely. What was going on, so that was the key, and I was pleased with that.
I do think it really, rebuilt some confidence, especially Business Oregon is overseeing the loan and the expenditures and what's been going on, and over the last few months, it's been a pretty heavy lift to regain that confidence and to keep our funding. So Steve did a terrific job on the tour, explaining what was going on, what we've done, what the next steps are and phases. So I got a glowing email from Business Oregon, thrilled about where the project is at now. So yes, great.
Thanks
job.
to you.
Thank you. Thank you. This has truly been a team effort, to get Biz Oregon back in good graces, the city in good graces with Biz Oregon.
But it's good when the team is working together.
Yes, and Public Works got the place clean. I mean, that place, I was like, wow, this is really clean. So that was nice. The playground, you notice that you have a very nice playground. They finished the turf installations. They're now cleaning up around the edges, getting things seamed and all that. We have decided internally to purchase fence material to complete the fence, not just where it was, fix it up, but also extend it around the backside a little bit. So you have basically 3 of the 4 corners managed so that parents and people from the park side can see their kids, but they're kind of contained in that one area. We think that'll be nice to finish it off. To do that, we have some additional turf that we're going to lay down and kind of in front of the open area so that we can keep the mud out of the turf. You'll notice in my report, I did have a concern. This was one of the things that is called a para-crisis, if you will, in crisis management. And it's as a result of social media and emails. Well, all of a sudden you get a group of people that are emailing each other and now have got a real concern. In this case, it was the artificial turf. And I did some research on it, and I can tell you that there are quite a few, I'm gonna put this in quotation marks, experts that have come to city councils, like in Santa Clara, California, and others that have just gave the council a litany of reasons why you should not put artificial turf down. In this case, we did select turf that has been heavily tested and certified. Yes, there is a heat issue. And I did learn that, but there's ways to deal with that. And one of them is to just sprinkle them down periodically. And fortunately, our irrigation pipes are all around that for the park. So staff and I have already worked out how we can make that work on hot. This is when it's over 90 degrees. And clearly, if you've ever been in a playground on a very hot day, particularly with those old metal slides, but plastic, you learn very quickly. Maybe you should wait till evening before playing on the playground. So what it told me is we need some signage up, maybe some warnings on hot days when it's out there that all the equipment is on, not just the turf. But the bottom line with the people that I communicated with, in the end, they were happy with the responses that were given to them. We gave them upfront every bit of information, all the testing material, what we have done, how the decision was made. It wasn't done in the dark or in the back corner. It came to council multiple times. It was discussed at the Hop Fest. That's how the design came. So if anything, and I didn't hammer this as sometimes I do with other folks that wonder why council makes these decisions, I said, well, my aside, if they want to continue, we'll just come to council. There's lots of chairs.
Exactly, or they can call me. And
Yeah, I call the mayor.
I think the biggest thing I'd love to know
is,
is, if they would have been watching the construction, the fall protection that's put in there, the rubber matting, rubber, the material on top is protecting that at the end of the day.
right,
So they can't leave it exposed, and you just can't throw sand, gravel, or
no.
stuff on top of
And
that.
this turf was designed specifically for no infill. The infill is, you'll see on the that's either sand or some sort of crumbs, black crumbs, that does make it hotter. This was designed specifically as a toddler surface. So we did share all that
And
information.
ADA accessible, a lot
And
easier for
ADA
someone to get a
accessible.
wheelchair across there, or crutches, or anything else that needs to be through there without tripping or getting splinters in your feet from whatever's in there.
So they were, in the end, they felt that maybe perhaps there could have been another alternative, but they were happy with the city's decision process. So that's what I'll report to you, that they left satisfied
Good.
that we did what you were supposed to, and you folks had the information and made the decision accordingly.
So just kind of a follow on with that, where you talk about the equipment getting hot. And we have a sprinkler system. I don't know if you can, if there's a way through valves of separating maybe that out. And it might be a feature that we sprinkle for 10 minutes every hour in this area. And say, come on down and enjoy the 10 minutes worth of watering and, cool off.
Thank you,
Splash
Counselor.
mountain playground.
Well, when we were doing this, we were digging, as you remember, it was all muddy. We were digging things up and putting things down. We discovered all sorts of irrigation lines in the middle of the playground area, which we rerouted. And so, two of our staff that were working on it figured out that they're part of two zones. And so that was the idea, was to take that line and make it a separate zone and just water it down periodically, separate from the main irrigation system. So that we could actually turn it in and do that. It's not expensive, and now, since it's still kind of up, we can work on it. So, yeah, that was the idea, was to kind of, and it's just over the turf, so it just cools it down. But that'd be kind of fun, actually. I mean, I can.
From the top of the hour for 15 minutes, sprinkle every hour when it gets above 90 degrees. or
90
whatever.
degrees, and it is designed for water permeability, and we did, before they came down, we did put we did put drainage pipes in there for them before they got to put the gravel in, so it is well designed for that. So that's a great idea.
Yeah, I'd be really surprised if it gets too hot, and I'd be surprised if more people are there barefoot. 'Cause walking up there, it's gonna be a lot harder on the cement and the asphalt.
I would say so.
But thank you for taking that into consideration.
We, I do not know, the bids were supposed to be open for the water plant, did we get a?
Yeah, I got a call. So, so for the construction of the water plant, we had a great, pre-bid turnout meeting. We received one bid. So, Civil West or Verdantis is reviewing, the bid submission to make sure it meets all the requirements, and, we'll probably be issuing a notice of intent, in the next day or so. So at least we got one. I was very surprised considering how many people came out for the pre-bid meeting, that we only got one.
One right now, how long's the RFPs open for?
It's closed. Yeah,
Open and closed, we got one? Do we reopen it again then to see if we get any?
we don't have time. So we have to have the loan dollars spent by, August 21st.
Okay.
So they have to scramble as it is. The company, they didn't go into a lot of detail, and I don't want to know until they've gone through their review. Is a larger company, a lot of experience, so.
Good, as
Yeah.
long as they can handle the work, that's the big part.
The biggest questions that we received was the timeline.
I saw that in the report.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say in the report, that was the biggest concern.
That was the biggest concern. And folks were very interested in it, but I could tell I was in the back. The city administrator was up front, and I was kind of in the back to capture all the comments from the rear, because those are sometimes where you get the best comments. And that was the main concern, was how can we get this done and not upset operations and do this all in a very quick timeline. We
Right.
have to have some folks to do that.
Mhm.
Quickly, I'm gonna be meeting with Civil West next week on the pre-design for the wastewater project. This is to get the plans ready to submit to DEQ. That ends this kind of the pre-design. This is not the design, bidding, environmental review, and other things that have to follow. But this is what you have to do in order to get into the front door of DEQ in order for them to get their blessing to move on with the water treatment, so wastewater. So I'll see what they have designed and what they have come up with. I think they want us to spend more money on it. We'll see. Yeah, so
Pretty big strike.
good luck with that one. Hydrant flushing starts this week throughout town.
I saw your posting.
The posting, it's due. We, G Street and Highway 99, been working with ODOT finally. I found, the doors open and I made a relationship with an ODOT person up in this region, and they said basically, oh, that's great. We'll put it on our list to go patch. You can put on your list and whoever gets there first, go ahead. And he paused and he says, but of course, you'll get to it faster than we will. So he listened to what we were going to do, gave us his blessing. So we have a wet spot coming here the next few days. As soon as that's over with, we're all set to quickly close off the street. We'll do a compact patch on that and get it done and out. So that's been ongoing for a while, but it looks like we're finally ready. And also, all I have to do is call ODOT with anything I want to do. Just let them know what we're doing, and we're good to patch along Highway 9.
Crosswalk and lights.
Oh, yeah. Otherwise, the SCA grant, we talked about that last time, maybe using that as conjunction with the lid to help make things less expensive if someone wanted to do that, or just fix F Street. The ODOT had been in a budget crunch and didn't know whether they were going to do any of their grants. They took their page offline for the SCA, but they put it back on today and said, okay, you have, the opening will be March 16th. So it's back on again. So we'll submit our F Street project and see how we do this year.
Yeah, I was surprised to see PGE dropped a new pole right where it floods. Yeah, it's kind of tip over, but.
It's, and the last is we were looking at getting some grants for another set of grants for our parks, the Barnsley playground equipment specifically. And the second one, because we can put 2 applications in, the backup would be getting some parking area built down at the dog park, as we call it. Some fencing and improvements, path improvements down there. Both projects, the one down at the dog park area with the paths and all that do click some additional buttons that ODOT, the parks people love. They love paths and alternative things. The playground equipment, we just modeled what we just did. So,
I talked about the jam of all
yes.
Yeah.
So, those are the 2 things we'll be submitting for and see how we do with that. Particularly since this project is got complete in time, done. And I think that also makes a big difference with the Oregon Department of Parks.
Yeah, do we have a badge that we can put up from them?
We do, Molly is working on that now.
Okay.
It's getting the badge and the signs and the signage. We're getting all that ready to go.
Yeah, I think it's really important for our residents to realize that this is really grants coming in that's making this stuff
It
possible.
does work. And the grant requires us to put one up.
Good.
So that's all I have. So this would.
Okay, any questions that we might have for our superintendent before he becomes intern, or attendant, administrator?
Go ahead. Mr. Martin,
Yes, sir.
Lieutenant, Martin, I was curious about the water pressure. We've been doing some testing on it, and when we'll be cranking it up a bit.
Okay, so right now the testing I've done shows us between 40 and 43 PSI, average 42. It kind of fluctuates a little bit depending on how full the tank is. With this project coming in, we get the boost pumps. And that water tower will never have water in it again after that. It'll be decommissioned. It'll just be the symbol of Hubbard and Verizon and T-Mobile.
Can you hear me now?
So when the boost pumps package gets in and certified, and this will be later, our timeline's very tight, so
August
before the end,
21st.
before the end of the year, we're gonna be ramping that system up. Initially, we're gonna cut right at 45 PSI with that. And simply because this whole town has never been tested higher than that.
Yeah.
And then if everything's working right and the electronics, we have to run it for 14 days without a fault in it. No electrical, if you have any glitch in that 14-day test, you have to fix it, start over again. So when we do put it online, it is gonna be putting out 45 PSI. The second part is we'll wait probably about a month to make sure everything's working correctly, and then we'll crank it up to 50 PSI. And then we'll go around town, hold our breaths and see what happens. I would imagine that some homes will, fixtures and things that have been very happy at 42 PSI may not be happy at 50. And then finally, we'll move it up to 55 PSI. And we'll see what happens with that. And we'll run that probably through the winter time into spring next year. And then in the springtime, that's one of the better times to do it, is then we'll crank it up just a little bit higher. 60 PSI would be fantastic. 55, you'll see a huge difference.
Huge difference.
Huge difference. 60 PSI would be great, but we'll see what happens. What we're looking at is making sure that none of our mains break. We still have older pipe in some sections of town.
And older homes.
And older homes, service lines are old. We just don't know what is going to happen if we get up that high. But 55 is really where we're at. Well, we can discuss this to see if we really want to crank it up one more step. But I think at 55, you're going to see that it's going to be.
So we need to go get shirts like the old "I can't drive 55."
Didn't we have a program to assist homeowners, or we discussed it?
We've identified them, I think reached out to them, and I don't know if you have much funding to help them. I think ideally is just to try to mitigate it by letting them know this is coming.
Needs a check it ahead of time.
Yeah.
Right.
That way they don't have burst pipes and.
Yeah, we'll step it very carefully, so that we don't get into those issues.
I know we discussed it at one time.
Thank you. You're welcome, Superintendent Rentner, for your next question. And thank you for stepping up too.
You're welcome.
Don't go anywhere.
I'm having too much fun.
Councilor Steininger, any questions you might have?
I don't have any questions right now, thank you.
Councilor Young?
No, thank you.
Okay, now let's go on to consent agenda then.
Oh,
With that,
Mr.
Go
Mayor,
ahead.
I have, one thing, so we forgot to talk about the accountants.
oh, yes, please bring that up. Yes.
So, I have reached out to a temp agency and, they have costed out what it would cost the city, for a 20-hour-a-week, accountant. So it's $65 an hour, so we're looking at about $5,200 a month, for this person to do all the finance and budget work. And so, I researched that, brought it to the mayor for consideration, and I need council to discuss. And if you approve, give the mayor authorization to sign the agreement with the temp agency.
Right. And the reason why we need that before the next council session is we want to try to keep that off of the plate of Superintendent Martineko. So the goal here is to have them come in and do general ledger, account payable, run the checks, everything else.
Payroll.
Basically. And that's part of the effort we're trying to do to eliminate the pressure that is on top of what's going to be the interim. And at the same time, in all honesty, anyone that we do bring in here full time, fill that city administrator job, probably won't have that skill set to do that. It's a very rare skill set to have, quite honestly. So the request is for us to be able to do this. It's going to allow us to keep our budget, payroll, and everything else moving ahead smoothly, while at the same time not overloading Superintendent Martineko as he steps into the interim position. So that's what we're looking for in terms of the approval while we're seeking this.
Motion?
Yep, we'll need a motion about.
I just want to say a few things. One of them is this is kind of a very critical position in the city. I've seen it blown up twice in the past where we've been kind of half going along and then suddenly have a problem. So we need to be really careful about who we bring in. We really, and I don't know what kind of, you know, can we bring them in for a couple of weeks, and if they're not working out, can we switch out another body real quick, something like that? I mean, the finance portion of the city is extremely critical, like I said. You know, it's bit us twice really bad in the past, so we want to make sure this, we get somebody in early. We understand what their knowledge base is, and the wonderful, the good part of this is it's running very, very smoothly right now with the Administrator Wade doing the work. Has been fantastic, been great, been loving it. Haven't had any financial headaches and real major headaches in a long time. You know, in the past, we've had the state actually threaten to come in and take over the city finances because it was so, we've had problems. So this is a real critical juncture we're at when it comes to the finances. So I just want to make sure we're looking for the right skill set, the right person to come in and fill in. And if they're not working out, we need to switch them out real quick. So.
I have a concern. As far as the part-time, will they have enough time to complete all the tasks of doing it so that they don't fall behind if we get a backlog or problems?
Yeah, so, payroll takes about 4 hours to process, you know, every 2 weeks. And then there'll be the budget monitoring and reports and stuff like that. I think 20 hours is sufficient.
And that's part of the city administrator's job regardless, is to have full oversight of the budget, the numbers. So when I present, I have full knowledge of all the items on there and that I review them and I believe that they are correct based upon the, you know, the inputs that are put in. And as you go forward, there's other things too. If payroll becomes too much, there's other services such as ADP that is very familiar with PERS and our state reporting. I used them in my previous position, and it makes a lot of difference, particularly to offload some of those critical things so you're not having to worry about it. Payroll does take a lot of time.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah, just need a motion and a second so we can vote on that. So the motion is to authorize Administrator Waite to to craft a contractual agreement for outsourcing payroll and other financial activities at 20 hours a month, and then authorize the mayor to sign. A week, yes, at 20 hours a week, thank you. But as stated by Administrator Waite.
I'll second that.
So I guess I made the motion.
Yeah, you.
I guess I just made the motion. Makes it, we have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone's confused, say nay. All right. Consent agenda still, don't pack up yet. I'm gonna read the consent agenda. First, approval of the city council meeting minutes, February 10th, 2026, city council meeting minutes, February 24th, 2026, special city council meeting minutes. B, approval of the February 2026 check register report, and D, resolution 842-2026. Approve the resolution identifying the city council's key priorities of fiscal year 2026-2027.
Second motion.
No, that was just me reading.
Yeah,
I need a motion.
I make the motion that we accept the consent agenda as read.
Okay, now we have a second on the motion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. Okay, is there any other city business?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
All right.
Second that motion.
All those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say nay. So we are adjourned. Thank you all. By the way, council, I'll keep